Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Srinivas Govinda Jaya Srinivas Govinda Srinivas Govinda Jaya Srinivas Govinda Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Prahlad Narsimha Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Hare Krishna. Right, so we'll sing the Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Achindya. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jayo Krishna Balaram. Jayo Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jayo Gauranitai. Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda, Jayo Srinivas Govinda. Jayo Prahlad Narasimha, Jayo Prahlad Narasimha, Jayo Prahlad Narasimha, Jayo Prahlad Narasimha. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ki, Shri Shri Nittai Gauranga ki, Shri Srinivas Govinda ki, Shri Prahlad Narasimhadev ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nittai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be reading from second chapter, text 47. So please repeat the verse after me. Karmanyevadhikaraste. Karmanyevadhikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbhur. Ma karma phala heturbhur. Mate sangostva karmani. Mate sangostva karmani. Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Ma karma phala heturbhur. Mate sangostva karmani. So the word to word meanings we'll read. So please repeat after me. Karmani, prescribed duties. Eva, certainly. Adhikaraha, right. Te, of you. Ma, never. Phaleshu, in the fruits. Kadachana, at any time. Ma, never. Karma phala, in the result of the work. Hetuhu, cause. Bhuhu, become. Ma, never. Te, of you. Sangaha, attachment. Astu, be there. Akarmani, in not doing. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So please repeat the translation. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Purport. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties refer to activities performed while one is in the modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but that he performed his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of action. Thus, he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work, in terms of the scriptural injunctions, is done without desire for results. As one has to do it, obligatory work is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results becomes the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is the cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. Thus ends the purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, this is a very famous verse actually. And many people, when you talk about Bhagavad-Gita, they actually quote this verse, Karmanyeva adhikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachana. They say, yes, I know Bhagavad-Gita. I follow Bhagavad-Gita also, they say. And they quote this verse and they will say, yes, I follow Karma Yoga, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. What is it? They say this, Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Oh, what does it mean? What do you think? Yeah, do your duty. Don't be, don't worry about your results. Be happy with whatever results you get. Right? This is the common understanding. Right? I think most of you might have heard this understanding. People say, yes, I know Bhagavad Gita. Do your duty. Don't worry about results. Right? And whatever result you get, be happy with it. And apparently there is some success with this understanding also. Why? It gives a person some level of optimism, optimistic thinking, right? Yeah, do your duty, don't worry about results. So it is optimism, isn't it? They're optimist. Whatever the result it is, they're okay. And then they say, and then whatever result you get, you be happy with it. Okay, so what can be done? So it gives some sense of lack of complete control, some sense of, okay, there are some other divine factors, God has to, sanction for whatever result. So I'm getting what I deserve, kind of, and be happy with what you have. So it is, unfortunately, a misunderstanding. Though it has some benefits, right? It's leading to some level of optimism, and they're not very disheartened people. They're following this formula. But actually, because of the misunderstanding, whatever benefit they're getting out of that understanding, they're losing it also. Why? Because in the end, they're saying, be happy with whatever you get. So they get something, and they try to become happy with it. What do they do with what they get? They will use it for their own enjoyment. Right? Now, when you utilize something for your own enjoyment, as Prabhupada said in the purport, we become the cause of the action, and it leads to bondage. Now, Krishna would not say something that would lead us to bondage. The whole purpose of Bhagavad-Gita is to liberate us from bondage. We are all bound in this material world, and Krishna wants to liberate us. That is the aim of all the great acharyas, pure devotees. They want to liberate us. But this misunderstanding is still binding us. Why? We are not worrying about results, but whatever results we get, we are enjoying. But let's see actually what Krishna says. Right? This verse, let's actually understand, is that what Krishna is saying? Right? Don't worry about results and be happy with what you get. Is that what Krishna is saying? Let's see. So Krishna is saying, Karmanyeva adhikaraste. Karmani, you have the, karmani means your work, your prescribed duties, whatever work. Eva adhikaraste, adhikara. You have the right to do your duty. Right? So do your duty. That's your right actually. You should do your duty. So everything good. Then he's saying, what is Krishna saying about results? He says, Ma phaleshu kadachana. So what is the exact meaning? Ma means never. Phaleshu, the fruits, the results. Kadachana, never think that the results belong to you. So what is Krishna saying? Ma phaleshu kadachana, exact meaning is, you're not entitled to the results. What is Krishna first thing he's saying about results? He's saying you're not entitled. So what do you think about being happy with whatever results we get? How can you be? You're not even entitled to the results. Ma phaleshu kadachana. This is a very interesting aspect. It's like, oh, I am not entitled to the results. I am doing something and I am not entitled. Who is entitled then? Haven't I worked hard to get these results? So to remove that confusion, Krishna is saying, yes, you might be thinking that, the results belong to you because you worked for it. But then he's saying, Krishna, Ma karma phala heturbuhu. Don't think that you are the cause of the results. This is even more puzzling. First of all, results, I am not entitled. I should not take the results. And I'm thinking, I did the activity. I should, get the result. Krishna is saying, no, don't think. Ma karma phala heturbuhu. Don't think that you are the cause of the results. Right? If you see the translation, only Krishna is saying is you have the right to perform your prescribed duty, but you're not entitled to the fruits of action. So the result, you're not entitled. And then never consider yourself to be the cause of the results of your activities. Because our general understanding is I worked hard, whatever I did, I got the results. The results belong to me. Say Krishna is saying, no, don't even think that you are the cause. Whatever result you achieve, neither you are the cause also. You're not the cause at all. So now the whole concept of work and results, one would lose taste to work, right? If I say, please, can you come to this company, we have a nice job opportunity. And you can work from morning 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a very good work. It will keep you busy and all. But no salary, no nothing. You just have to work. Who will be interested? Oh, this is not a good deal at all. Though it's a very big company, maybe let's say one of the biggest companies of the world has sent you an invitation. Please come and work for us. In the bottom disclaimer, but there is no payment. The impetus is lost, right? So Krishna is saying, do your work, but you're not entitled to the results. The results are not yours. And don't think that you did something so that the results belong to you. The natural thing is we will lose impetus to work, right? So that is why Krishna is saying, Nate sangastu akarmani, but don't become attached to not doing your work. Because I said all this, now you have lost impetus to do work. Then Krishna is saying, Still, never be attached to not doing your duty. So this is what Krishna said in this verse. Where did Krishna say, whatever you get, be happy with it? Don't worry about results. Krishna didn't say about not worry about results. He made very clear that results will be there. You're not entitled to the results. So let's try to understand what is Krishna trying to say here. So first thing is, it is actually puzzling, isn't it? First thing puzzling is we do something and we don't deserve the results. The results are not for us. And next thing is Krishna is saying, don't think that you caused the results. Actually, that is the reason why we don't deserve the fruits of the result, because actually we are not the cause of the result. One might think, what do we mean? How come we not be the cause? A person who is working, he is the cause, isn't it? If he doesn't do something, result won't come. How can a person who is doing work can't not be the cause of the result? So that Krishna explains very nicely. Whenever we, in the 18th chapter, Krishna actually speaks, whenever we say somebody has done a work and he has got a result, the general understanding is the person has done something and he has got a good result. He worked hard and things like that. But Krishna actually breaks it down into 5 factors of action. What is it that actually brings about a result? What are the 5 factors, right? Krishna is analyzing. Now, if we analyze, we can also understand whether what Krishna is saying makes sense or not, right? So Krishna says in the 18th chapter, 2 verses. Krishna says there are 5 factors of action, right? So I'll just mention the verse and we'll read the translation. So Krishna says, Panchaitani Mahabaho Karanani Nibodame Sankhye Kritante Proktani Siddhaye Sarva Karmanam. So Krishna is first saying, O mighty Arjuna, learn from me of the 5 factors which bring about the accomplishment of all action. These are declared in the Sankhya philosophy. So what is that? There are 5 things Krishna is saying. Please listen to from me. This is known as Sankhya. Sankhya means actually analytical understanding, analytical knowledge. Now what are these 5? Now here Krishna is saying, Adhishtanam tata karta, karanam cha pratak vidam, vividascha pratak chesta, daivam chavitra panchamam. So Krishna has mentioned the 5 factors of action. What are the 5 factors? Adhishtanam. Adhishtanam means the place of action. We all know something to be done. Somebody is working in a company, is getting a salary. What are the various things? He has to go to the office. Okay, nowadays remote working also, example might not work, but still you have to log in, isn't it? You have to log into your office VPN or something. So the place of action is important. So you have the place, adhishtanam, tata karta, and then first is the place, second is the karta, the doer, the person who is doing, right? We were talking about a person who does his work. So first there is place and then there is the doer. And then karanam. Karanam means the instruments, the various senses, right? The instruments that a person uses. A person is there in a place and he uses his senses. And then he says, chesta, the endeavor. Now if a person logs into the office in the right place, the person is there, place is there, person is there, senses are also there, and his hand is there, everything is there, keyboard is there. But if there is no chesta, if there is no endeavor, he won't do any work, right? If there is no endeavor, everything, all instruments, everything is there. But if you don't start working, no work, no output will come. So Krishna is breaking it down. You see, it's very analytically Krishna is analyzing. Now, this is very practical. See, the Bhagavad-Gita is very practical science. There is no mythology, right? So far what we talked about, right? For anything to happen, these 4 things are logical. The place, the person, the senses, the various instruments, and the endeavor, the chesta is also there. So everyone accepts this. These are the 4 things everybody knows. Anything to happen, these are the things that are needed. But then Krishna adds the 5th factor, Daivam, the supreme, the divine sanction. Right? So if I read the translation, Krishna is saying, these are declared in Sankhya philosophy to be the place of action, the performer, the senses, the endeavor, and ultimately the super soul, the supreme Lord. The supreme Lord, the super soul, the Daivam, the divine aspect is also there. So what does it mean? Even if we have all 4, if you have the endeavor, if you have the senses, if the person is there and the place is there, if Daivam is not there, if the Lord's sanction is not there, the work won't happen. Now what does it mean by Lord's sanction? I'll give an example. Recently I was just hearing about some incident. So I will just mention a part of the incident. So this person has a pilot license, it seems, right? He's taking off a flight. And there were around 10 of his friends. They were all businessmen. They were going on a flight trip. Right? He has a personal flight. So he's taking them. So he's a pilot. He has a pilot license. So he started, taking the flight. They were about to go to some destination. And the flight just took off. And unfortunately, there was some mechanical failure in the flight. And what happened, the moment it took off, it actually immediately crashed. Right? But it was not a very high. Right? Nobody died, everyone. And there were some injuries and all. So the flight immediately crashed. It fell down. Right? So everything was disturbed, and there was some damage and everything. So all his friends, they were all able to take out the seat belts and everything, and they got out of the flight. And they're waiting for him to come out. So he's in the pilot seat. Right? So he also took out his seat belt, and he was trying to get up, and he was not able to get up. He was like, "What's happening?" Right? He was checking whether all the belt is off or something. So he's using his hands and using all his strength and everything. He's just trying to get up. He just wants to get out of the seat, right? Come out of the flight. And he's just not able to move. And it so happened that when the flight crashed, it fell down. Because of the shock, it injured his spine. And there was some damage that happened to the spinal area where the whole bottom part of the body got paralyzed. Right? He didn't even realize. It was just a jolt, right? Sudden jolt. He didn't even knew that this thing happened to him. Right? It was just a shock. You will obviously feel something happened. And he's trying to get up. He's just not able to get up. So everything is there, right? Endeavor is there. The senses are there. The place is there. The person is there. But he's not able to get up. So this is what the fifth factor is. The divine sanction should be there. That is why it is said, without the Lord's sanction, not even a blade of grass will move. So everything in this world that is actually happening there is one factor that totally controls it. That is the Supreme Lord's sanction. Without the Lord's sanction, no work will happen, no result will be achieved. That person just could not stand up. And the friends were waiting outside, they didn't realize, they went in, they asked him, "What's going on, why are you not coming?" He says, "I just can't get up." And then they had to call ambulance or whatever, and they took him on a stretcher. Right? So this is just a very example. Now if you analyze in our own life, you can go, any paralyzed person, unfortunately you go, and let's say his hand is paralyzed. You ask him to raise his hand. We can do, I raise my hand very easily, comfortably. Why can't you raise? He says, "I'm trying to, I can't." Right? So that is where this sanction is. For anything to happen, the divine sanction, the Supreme Lord's sanction should be there. And then, so that is why Krishna is saying, don't think you are the cause of the result. It was actually me who has sanctioned. The Supreme Lord has sanctioned. And when the Supreme Lord has sanctioned is when you actually get a result. So ultimately, everything belongs to the Supreme Lord also. So this is one reason. And there is another reason also. Apart from the Supreme Lord's sanction, if you just analyze our own human body, our own abilities, right? Many times we had discussed this in the past also. Our abilities to read, write, comprehend, walk, talk, everything, all our intellectual ability, physical ability, we use this to produce any kind of result, right? We are all working people. We utilize all our abilities and we get some result. Now all our abilities also are actually given to us, isn't it? Everyone is born with all kinds of abilities. We have not manufactured our mind or our brain in a laboratory. We did not manufacture our hands, legs. We did not manufacture these five senses. These eyes are like wonderful cameras. What megapixel resolution, we don't know, but we can comprehend a lot, right? So it's like that. Everything is a wonderful instrument actually that we have. The eyes are like cameras. The ears are like, microphones. The mouth is like a speaker. Everything, it's a mechanical instrument. We did not design it. We were given this body, right? So our abilities, everything, if you see, and how are we given? What is this body made of? All these material elements. And what are these material elements? They are all energy of Krishna. Did we even design the material elements? Nothing. We were given, we are born with these abilities. We have been given these abilities and we are utilizing, to whatever our best ability. So if you analyze that way, whatever work we do now, everything, does it still belong to us? I always give the example of a carpenter. Let's say a big landlord engages a carpenter, right? And he provides him a lot of wood and he gives him all the tools. Right? And he says, "Can you please make furniture for me?" And he gives him some, all the design. I want so many chairs, I want so many dining table or, sofa, couch and everything. And the carpenter works hard. He uses the tools, he uses everything, and he produces, all the furniture. Now, at the end of the day, can the carpenter say, I worked hard, I did all this, furniture and everything, so I will actually now take all this with me. I will use it in my home. Is it valid? No. Why? The whole ingredients were supplied by the landlord, and the tools were also given by the landlord. So everything belongs to the landlord. Then what is it for the carpenter? He can take his due fees, whatever fees, his labor charges is what he can take. He can't take everything. So that way, if we analyze our situation, we are all like that carpenter. We are utilizing everything given by Krishna. Everything is Krishna's. This body, our ability, our intellectual ability, our physical ability, everything is given by Krishna, given by God. And all the natural ingredients, supplies that we use, this is also all given by Krishna. Right? And ultimately, Krishna is sanctioning for it to happen. So where is it that the result belongs to us? When everything belongs to Krishna, and everything is supplied by Krishna, is supplied by God, right? We ourselves, we all agree, we did not personally manufacture this mind-body system. So and everything is provided to us. So if everything is given by Krishna and everything is sanctioned by Krishna, and whatever result comes, naturally the result belongs to Krishna. So who is entitled here now? Right? We are saying you're not, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, you're not entitled. Don't think you're the cause of action. So who is entitled? It is Krishna who is entitled. And then what is our position? We are like the carpenter. Our whatever is due we can take. In Ishopanishad, the first mantra, very nicely Vyasadeva mentions. What is this situation? He says, Isha Vashyam idam sarvam. The whole, entire creation, adam sarvam. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. So there is one Supreme Lord, Isha Vashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to the Supreme Ishvara. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Everything in the whole universe belongs to the Supreme Lord. So everything belongs to Him. Just like our results of activities, whatever, it also belongs to Him. But then it is said, Tena taktena bunjita. Whatever is needed, that is what we have right upon. That's what we can actually use. That's what we can utilize. Magrita kasya swit dhanam. So, but we don't have the right to use up any other's property allocated for anybody else. What we need is what we are entitled to. So, whatever work we do, all the results that we get, the results don't belong to us. They belong to Krishna. And we only can keep what is needed for our sustenance, for our maintenance. Then the question becomes, okay, then what do we do with all the result? It all belongs to Krishna. What is the purpose of me working then? If I am not supposed to enjoy the results of my work, if I people generally have big plans. They want to build name, fame, and property, wealth. So much they want to enjoy. But here Krishna is saying, no, you're not even entitled. Everything actually belongs to me. So then what should I do with all this result? Why should I even do? So in the next verse, Krishna clearly says what you should do. So a lot of people, again, when they quote this verse, they quote only this verse out of context and, misunderstanding. But the correct understanding is Krishna is saying, do your duty. You're not entitled to the results. Neither you are the cause of the results. But at the same time, don't stop doing your duty also. Then how should I do? What should I do? What is the purpose of my doing if I'm not going to enjoy? Krishna says in the next verse, he clarifies, Yogastha kuru karmani. This is why you should do your work. The impetus for you to do your work is not to enjoy the result. The impetus for you to do your work should be to engage in yoga. Yogastha kuru karmani. Krishna many times says, other place also says, Yagnartha karmano anyatra. You do your work as yagna to satisfy Krishna. Here he is saying again similar thing. Yogastha kuru karmani. Do it as a yoga. So that, what does yoga mean? To connect to Krishna. And he's saying, Sankam tyaktva dhananjaya. He says, you should not be attached to the results again. Here is again he's saying. And then siddhi asiddhyo sama bhutva. Whatever success or failure, be equipoised. Be in equipoised situation. And then, samatvam yoga uchyate. Then you will be in yoga. So here is what Krishna is saying, Yogastha kuru karmani. So whatever we do, we should do it as a yoga. Yoga means we should utilize the results to connect to Krishna, to become Krishna conscious. And how do we connect to Krishna? How do we become Krishna conscious? Why should we even connect to Krishna? Right? Why is Krishna saying, Yogastha kuru karmani? Why is Krishna not allowing me to enjoy the results? Why Krishna is saying you connect to me? What is this? Krishna is God. He is the proprietor of the entire universe. I earn whatever 50k, 100k, if I enjoy it, what is Krishna's problem? Right? One might think, he has so much, no? The whole universe is his only. What is the problem if I enjoy a little bit? I want to build a big house. I want to put a big name, so-and-so proprietor. I want to, have a big profile. I want to accumulate, lot of name, fame. I want to have a very grand LinkedIn profile, vice president or CEO or CTO. We want to work, Why is Krishna, stopping me from this? What is this instruction in Bhagavad-Gita? Krishna is saying, no, don't enjoy. Results are not yours. Yogastha kuru karmani, you use that to connect to me. Is Krishna very stingy? He can't give little to me when he has so much? Actually, no, Krishna is not stingy. And it is no big loss for Krishna, even if you want to enjoy the whole planet also. The problem is, the loss is for us. And Krishna as our well-wisher is telling us this thing. It is not that Krishna is, I'm something, my stuff you're using up, I'm losing something. As it is mentioned here, Krishna is, as we mentioned in the beginning, Krishna is trying to save us from bondage. We are all bound. And this bondage is the problem. And this bondage is not something very, vague to understand. It is very practical. We are all bound. Where are we bound, all of us, right now? We are all bound in these bodies. Right? This body is actually has tightened us, has locked us. The soul, the spirit soul, the Atma is locked inside this body. What is the problem if it is locked inside the body? So what if it is in the body? All miseries, if you analyze, are because of this body. Because of the bondage, because of being bound to this body. Right? You take example, physical problems, right? As we all grow old, we will start realizing there is knee pain, there is back pain, there is leg pain, there is neck pain, all kinds of things I never realized actually. So this is a problem. This body is a problem. Krishna says, Manashastani indriyani prakristani karshati. Krishna is saying that Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. He is saying, my Amsha, all these living beings are my Amshas, but what is going on with them? Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke, in this Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha, who are actually eternal, Manashastani Indriyani Prakristani Karshati. Krishna is saying, because of Manaha, six senses, including the mind, right? There are 5 senses. And the mind, Krishna is saying, include that, it becomes 6. Manashastani, Shasta means 6. Indriyani, with the 5 senses and the mind. Prakritistani Karshati. Karshati means hard struggle. We are struggling very hard, right? Bodily problems is a struggle, right? Our health and everything. Our subsistence and our sustenance, rents are so high. You can't take 3 months vacation and go somewhere. You can only take few weeks what the company allows. How will you pay the rent? Where will you live? What will you eat? Struggle for existence. One day if there is no food, what a misery. Anytime there is some news, nowadays it's becoming common. Some news comes, something is happening, it's panic buying. Did you see? Nowadays news headlines. Panic buying started happening in some city. What is panic buying? People are scared. They're panicked and they're rushing to the stores. They're buying groceries and toiletries and all those things. They don't know when things will run out. It is such a struggle for existence, right? This body. It's just at the physical level. And then Manasastani, Krishna has mentioned the mind also. Mind is also always troubling. So many things we are dealing all our life, relations, friends, family, children, parents, name, fame, property, security, future, past, so many anxieties, right? Manasastani in the mind, mentally and everything. And unfortunately, as we grow old, nothing only seems to get better. It only gets, more tricky and complicated. Right? When you're a child, when you're growing, only anxiety you have is, study for exams, get a good score or something, and then get into a good college, and then get a good job, and then everything has expanded suddenly. You get married, you have children, you have in-laws, you have parents, their parents are aging, you will be aging, you have to, deal with the education of the children, and, it just becomes a big complex web. That is why Krishna is saying, Manashastani Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. We are struggling. So this is what Krishna wants to save us from. Krishna is not losing anything. He can create another hundreds, thousands of planets if he wants. If you take up some property, build some name, fame and property, buy some property and build up some wealth and everything, Krishna is not really losing anything. But who is the loser? We are the loser. When we fall into this trap of enjoyment, we become bound, and we become bound to this material world. Yagnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandanaha. Lokoyam, in this world, karma bandanaha. Because of our activities, bandanaha, bondage, this binding will happen. And not that every life we will be born in a good family situation where, okay, somehow or other we studied well, we got jobs in US and we are living in this Bay Area. No guarantee. We could be born in Africa, Nigeria, or in a slum in Bombay or Chennai or anywhere, right? There is no guarantee. The way karma works is very intricate, very complicated. We could be born as an animal. We could be born as a handicapped person. We could be born blind. We could be born lame. Anything could happen. We're all very fortunate people, but all we have to do is just observe. Just observe all the unfortunate people. And just imagine, what if I end up in their place? What would be my situation? We see all the unfortunate people in the world. They say only 6% of the whole population has everything like what we have. We are very fortunate. But imagine what if we fall into that 7th, 8th, 9th or 100% people who are suffering with so many anxieties. Suddenly people are living under the bridges. There are so many homeless people. There is so much suffering going on, right? This is what Krishna wants to save us from. This karma bandhana, this bondage, when we take the path of enjoying these material objects, unfortunately, we will commit many sinful activities, right? Because I want to build wealth and then I will come to know some black market strategy and I will cheat some people and I will make more wealth. So we will end up committing more and more sinful activities. And when we commit a lot of sins, the reactions will be very harsh. Just like a big criminal gets a very harsh treatment, isn't it? So what will happen if we fall into this trap of material enjoyment? We'll end up committing a lot of sinful activities. We'll become bound more and more, and we will actually be trapped in this material world and not in a comfortable AC room like this. It can get really worse and really, very difficult. But actually, this is not our real position. The nature of soul is not to be bound at all by a body or a circumstance. A perfect example of liberated soul is Narada Muni. You know about Narada Muni? Many times we hear. He's traveling, he's flying, he's very free, completely free. See? This is called independence by dependence. What we are all going through is dependence by independence. We are declaring independence. I don't care about God, I don't care about anything. I will do whatever I want, but we are becoming more and more dependent. We are caught up in a very complex situation, in a complex body, in a complex environment, in a complex circumstance, suffering so many reactions, so many miseries. So that so-called independence is actually becoming more and more, dependence on this material nature. But the real way is like Narada Muni. Independence by dependence. What is that? Narada Muni is completely dependent on Krishna. He is exactly following all instructions of Bhagavad-Gita. He does everything for the pleasure of Krishna, for Krishna. Narada Muni is never working to build a big building or accumulate property or wealth or anything. He has nothing to do with anything material. He is just serving Krishna, very happy and blissful. He is free. Prabhupada writes in one of the purport, we are all destined for that. We all deserve that. We are all entitled to that. We can all be like Narada Muni, very free, travel all over the world, all over the universe. Narada Muni is relishing, experiencing. We are working so hard to make one trip to, say, Hawaii or something, hundreds, thousands of dollars you have to spend and go. Narada Muni is very comfortably flying all over the universe, all planetary systems. He is preaching everywhere. He is going and seeing, the Krishna in Dwaraka. He is seeing, Yudhishthira in the Hastinapura. He is traveling across the planets. He is going to Indra sometimes. He is going to even, the Patala. He is going to talking to Yamaraja. This is the real freedom. This is the real freedom that Krishna wants to give us. That is why Narada Muni is coming and preaching all the time. That is why, Prabhupada comes and preaches us. So Krishna is not worried about, you're using up some of my property, wealth and all. Krishna is actually our well-wisher. Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. Krishna defines himself. He talks about himself. He says, Bhoktanam yagnatapasam sarva loka maheshwaram. I am the Maheshwara of sarva loka. I am the supreme proprietor of everything. And Suhrudam sarva bhutanam. Here also there are so many big proprietors, right? CEOs of Google, Amazon, big companies, SpaceX, Tesla. Are they Suhrudam sarva bhutanam? They don't care. They just want to make more profit, make more money. But Krishna is the supreme proprietor of everything and he is our well-wisher. He wants to liberate us. He doesn't want us to be stuck in this bondage. That is why Krishna is saying, don't fall in the trap of becoming attached to the results and trying to enjoy results and end up in some kind of a sinful activity and become implicated. Krishna wants to liberate us. That is why Krishna is saying, this exactly like, when you come to the temple and you give some donation, is it that Krishna is lack of money? Krishna is Lakshmipati. Who is being benefited when you give something to Krishna? We are getting benefited. We are getting that Sukriti. Krishna is, we are pleasing Krishna and Krishna will bless us. What does it mean by Krishna's blessings? Is it that we will get promotion within a week or month? Krishna's blessing means we will get rid of this material madness, Bhavaroga. This disease, we are all undergoing one common disease, just like the pandemic has spread all over the world. All over the material universe, this disease has spread. It's like, and this is called Bhavaroga, this material disease. What is material disease? Though this material world is a very unfortunate, disturbing, disappointing thing, still we are eagerly hankering to do something good out of here, get some benefit out of it. Anyway, we will lose everything. But this is the disease. This is a mental disease. This is that is why it is a cleansing of consciousness is what is needed. So by Krishna's blessing, when you do something for Krishna, when Krishna blesses us, what happens? Our consciousness is cleansed. Our heart is cleansed. This material disease will come down. And it will strike to us. Why am I working like this unnecessarily? Right? What am I doing here? Anyway, one day I will die. Who am I fighting with? End of this life, this person is gone, I am gone. What am I doing? This realization will come. This is the real self-realization, understanding, right? So this is what Krishna is trying to do us. He wants to liberate us. He wants to free us from all miseries. And that is called mukti. And if you don't follow these instructions and you are trying to enjoy your results, that is called bhukti. Bhukti means enjoyment. Bhukti will lead to attachment, bondage to this material world. And bhakti will lead to mukti. And that is why Krishna is always talking about bhakti. He's always saying, come connect to me, come connect to me. Why? Krishna is like that sun, complete bright light, and all the darkness in the heart will be removed. Another example is Krishna is the purest of the pure, pavitram paravam bhaman. And we have some impurities. It is like a mental disease. We have a misunderstanding, lot of misgivings in our mind. We can't blame anybody. When we are born from childhood, we are being told, oh, study well, get good job, earn good money, make big money. See, he's a big famous, he's a CEO, he has $1 million. What are you doing? So we have been, mentally disturbed from childhood. This is the material world. We have been brainwashed into doing unnecessary things, wasting our time and energy. So this negative brainwashing will be taken over by the positive brainwashing. When we chant Hare Krishna mantra, when we connect to Krishna, we become purified. This disturbed consciousness, this mental disease, this bhavaroga will go away. And then we will come to our senses. We will come to understanding. What am I doing? I belong to Krishna. Krishna is in Vaikuntha. There is no birth, death, old age, disease there. I belong there. And Krishna is repeatedly telling me, you chant Hare Krishna, you read about me, think about me and come to me. Why am I worrying about investing in this stock or that stock? End of the day, everything is going to, be lost, right? So this understanding, it sounds so simple, but because of our conditioning, because of our brainwashing from childhood and many lifetimes, it takes some time. So Krishna is trying to help in that. So, and then how do we, yogastha kuru karmani? So to conclude, Krishna is saying, do everything as yoga. How is it? How can I connect everything to Krishna? So Krishna says, actually, 9th chapter, very nice verse. He says, actually, whatever you do it as a offering to me. He says, yat karosi, yat asnasi, yat juhosi, dadasi, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva mad arpanam. So this is the formula Krishna is giving. Krishna gives a practical formula. He says, yat karosi, whatever you do, yat asnasi, whatever you eat, yat juhosi, whatever you offer, dadasi, yat, whatever you give away, yat tapasyasi, whatever tapasya you do. Oh Kaunteya, oh son of Kunti is telling Arjuna, tad kurusva mad arpanam. You do it as an offering to me. So this is what it becomes. So then our results, whatever work we are doing, we should do it as an offering to Krishna. Whatever result comes, I want to utilize it as an offering to Krishna. So whatever money we earn, you buy some groceries. How do you do it as an offering to Krishna? It's very easy. Whatever you prepare, offer to Krishna. It becomes Krishna prasadam. Right? And whatever your house, your building and everything, that is fine. Nothing wrong. We need a place to live. Install a nice picture or deity of Krishna so that you can worship him. Right? So in this way, Krishna is saying, whatever you do, and that is the real art of living in this life, following the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita, following the instructions of spiritual master, so that we can utilize the results of our work for Krishna to advance in Krishna consciousness. So the correct understanding of this verse is not that don't worry about results, do whatever you want and be happy with what you have. The thing is, do your duty and use the results to serve Krishna, to advance in Krishna consciousness. The results should be utilized for Krishna. So this is our homework. Whatever result we are getting, how do I utilize for Krishna? That is what our homework should be. We should always be thinking, I'm getting money, I'm getting name, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. How do I utilize for Krishna? How do I Krishnaize it? Prabhupada coined the word Krishnaize, ionize, or things like that. So Prabhupada used the word Krishnaize. We have to Krishnaize our life. Every activity we are doing, we have to Krishnaize it. I like to hear music. How do I Krishnaize it? Listen nice kirtans. I like to eat nice food. How do I Krishnaize it? Offer to Krishna, eat prasadam. I like to sing and dance. How do I Krishnaize it? Come to Krishna Balaram Mandir, Aarti at 1 o'clock, you sing and dance. You Krishnaize everything like this. So this is what is the real art of executing our life and our duties, to how to connect everything to Krishna, so that slowly what happens? We will become Krishna conscious. And what does Krishna conscious mean? We will no more be worried about name, fame, wealth, health, bodily, intellectual situations. We will become only concerned about Krishna, serving Krishna. And in this consciousness, we will actually start deriving pleasure. Ye atma su prasidati. Krishna says, when you actually become my devotee, you will become very peaceful and satisfied. And actually that's what everyone is looking for, to become peaceful and satisfied. Right? So it is a very enlightening, positive, satisfying journey if you take up to Krishna consciousness. And ultimately at the end of life, we will get mukti, means go back to Krishna. No more material world, no more birth, death, old age, disease, no more coronavirus or monkeypox or any of those kind of things. Only, Narayana Parayana, very happily situate oneself in Vaikuntha. Right? So I'll stop here. So one very practical way to do this is chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. In this Kali Yuga, Krishna is saying, yad karosi, yad asnasi, whatever. Definitely eating prasadam is a very practical thing. And this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra is a very simple, easy way to engage the result of our activities. Right? As a result of all our activities, we are now healthy and fit and whatever we are sitting here. Let's utilize this result in Krishna's service. How? By chanting Hare Krishna. Right? So this is something we request all of you. It's very easy to do. Prabhupada mentioned there is no loss, but only benefit, only gain. And we can make wonderful progress in attaining mukti and getting rid of bhukti, right? Getting rid of this bhavaroga, this material disease. Right? So we'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So before we chant, we'll chant the Guru Pranam mantra and Panchatattva mantra, and we'll all chant the Hare Krishna mantra together. So please repeat after me. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we'll all chant Hare Krishna mantra together. So it's important to chant and hear. We should pronounce very clearly, and Prabhupada says hear very carefully with lot of respect, because we are actually praying to Krishna. Krishna incarnates in the sound. So very carefully, very attentively we should chant. Okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram.